Shut Kol HaKadosh, everybody, welcome. Be'ezrat Hashem, Arachat Tzlacha, Kol Am Yisrael. שהקדוש ברוך הוא תשפיע ברכה צלחה. Yaakov Ben Asher to sponsoring the shiur. Please participate in sponsoring our kolo, the shiurim. Shiratzon, you could get in touch with me at 917-335-4763. You want to sponsor for the Atzlacha, for the briyut, healthiness, and whatever you have your side, you're able so to sponsor. It's nothing, stands like for the words of the Torah. So we continue in our Pirkei Avot. So in the Pirkei Avot, we said that last time we left off in a Perek Gimel, chapter 3, Mishnah Bet. So it says Moshav, so we're following over here. So it says, ראו בלאו, רבי חנינא בן תרדיון אומר שניים יושבים ואין ביניהם דברי תורה, הלא זה מושב לצים. So it says, רבי חנינא בן תרדיון, Rabbi Hanina ben Tradion says if two sitting and they have no divrei Torah between them, is considered the sittings of the scoffers, which just means also clowns. Shenemar moshav letzim lo yashav. David HaMelech alav shalom teaching us something beautiful. He says all his 70 years of life, he guaranteed he did not sit and with the scoffers and making fun of other people or sitting just making empty jokes. Aval shnayim yoshvim. What about two people sitting and learning? Ve'esh benehem divrei Torah, shchina shruya benehem. The divine presence is among them. Shenemar az yidabru yirei Adonai ish el re'ehu. Then they're going to speak about the words of Hashem, ish le re'ehu, which means to his fellow. V'akshiv Adonai v'yishma. V'akshiv Adonai v'yishma. He says they're going to listen to Hashem and they're going to hear Hashem. V'yikatev b'sefer zikaron lefanav le'yirei Adonai. Lo shiveh shemo. And not only that, he's going to be putting in the books of memory. And his name, En Lishnaim. What about, we talk about two people. Minayin afilu echad yoshev v'osek b'Torah. What if one person sitting and learning Torah? She'akadosh baruch hu koveh lo schar. And HaKadosh baruch hu is going to give him reward. Even one person. She'nemar yashav badad v'yidom ko ki natal alav. He says even he's sitting by himself and learning Torah, Hashem still gives him the reward. Last time we left off, Rabbi Hanina ben Tradion was executed by the Rashaim Roman emperor. So we're going to see what happened to this Roman emperor. HaKadosh Baruch Hu echad me'asarei harugei malchut. Rabbi Hanina ben Tradion is one of the 10 tzaddikim that got so-called killed, brutalized by the Romans. Nisraf v'sefer Torah imo. Him and his sefer Torah will God burn together. Masechet Avodah Zarah, that's what it says in Masechet Avodah Zarah in page 18. Bayom chav zayin b'sivan gediita b'shulchan aruch siman tavkuf pei. So it says in Shulchan Aruch in siman 580. It says it happened on the 27th of the Sivan. It says something in Avodah Zarah, which talks about the story of Rabbi Hanina ben Tradion, in page 18. Tanu Rabbanan, Kshechala Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma, halach Rabbi Hanina ben Tradion levakro. Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma, he got sick. Rabbi Hanina ben Tradion went and visited him. Amalo Hanina Achi, he says, my dear brother, Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma to say to Rabbi Hanina ben Tradion, my dear brother, aren't you know there's a decree for Am Yisrael in that time? They should not be learning Torah. Mina Shamayim Malkeu, he says, from the heavens we have a decree. Hu shachrif et beto. He says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one who destroys his house. V'sarfa et ha'echalo. The Echal, which just means got burned. Harga et Chasidav, and all the Chasidim got killed, the righteous people. Avda et Tovav, the good people also perished. Vadain hi kayemet, and the decrees is still there. Vani shamati alecha she'ata yoshev va'osek b'Torah. Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma asking Rabbi Chanina ben Tradion, and I heard you still learning Torah. Torah. Why are you learning Torah? So it says, she'ata yoshev b'Torah, makil keilot rabim. Not only you learning by yourself Torah in the closed rooms, you're spreading the words of Hashem to everybody. V'sefer Torah manuch lecha b'chika. So you go with the Sefer Torah everywhere, which means you are walking Sefer Torah. Mina shamayim amalo, Rabbi Chanina ben Tradion says, from the heavens there's going to be mercy on me. Amal ani omer lecha dvarim shel tam. But I'm giving you, it says, proper tam, which just means I'm giving you, what are you talking about? The decree is there, and you're sitting me telling me from the heavens is going to be mercy on me. And you says from the heavens they're going to be mercy on me. So it says following. He says, I'm not surprised if they're going to burn you and a Sefer Torah together in a fire. Then he's asking Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma, Rabbi Chanina ben Tradion. Says, well, how is my olam haba looks like? Amala kula ma'aseh bali yadecha, amala ma'od shel Purim. He says, I have some money left from the Purim that was given out to the people that are needed. ונכלפתי לי במעות של צדקה לקחתי לעניים, לא נפרדתי מן הקופה של הצדקה. He says, I took from my own money and I gave that money instead of, it was by mistake, the money got exchanged. I gave it with my own money. כי מחלקך יהיה חלקי, מגורלך יהיה גורלי. He says, if that's the case, he says, whatever you're going to go through, let me be part of it. Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma says. He says, you were so generous by giving charities. And he says, let me be like you and be part of you. That should I be also the same way generous with the charity. Not too far along from that conversation between Rabbi Chanina ben Tradion and Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma, Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma passed away. All the government officials of Rome went to visit Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma in his lavaya, which means in his funeral. They did a big eulogizing on him. The Roman government came back from the funeral, and they see Rabbi Chanina ben Tradion is learning Torah. He's shtagin. Not only that, he's spreading the Torah publicly. He had probably Sefer Torah, a small one, and he was walking with it everywhere. So what they did, they take the ropes and they wrap him with the Sefer Torah together. They took the fire and they burned him and Sefer Torah. So what they did, they took the rag, like a rag, that made from the cotton, tzemer really from the wool, they water it, and the keep was putting in his heart, so we would suffer. Yes. So his neshama would not depart fast and quick from heart attack. Amar lo bito, Rabbi Chanina ben Tradion, his daughter says, Abba, she says, my dear father, I'm looking at you like this. Klomar ma Torah v'zeh schara. She says, this is the Torah, and this is the word of the Torah. The daughter says, Amala ilmale ani nisrafti livadi ye davar kashe li. He says, if I will be burned by myself, it will be very hard for me. ועכשיו אני נשרף בספר תורה עמי. He says, I'm burned right now in Sefer Torah with me. מי שיבקש עלבונו של הספר תורה בקש עלבוני. Whoever is going to pay for the revenge for the red Sefer Torah that they're burning, let him the same revenge for me. If I would have passed away, he says, Rabbi Hanina ben Tradion alone, I would not ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu to do a revenge. But over here, because the Sefer Torah burned with me together, he's going to do revenge. Whoever is going to do revenge for Sefer Torah, let it do revenge for me also. ואמר תלמידיו, Rebbe, מה אתה רואה? They're asking him, Rebbe, what do you see? What do you see? You understand, it's beyond our understanding. The Rebbe, they're burning with the Sefer Torah. They're supposed to be cry, mourn, scream, right? That's what people do. They're asking him, Rebbe, what do you see? What do you see? אמר להם, גילויים שורפים ואותיות פורחות. He says, I see the cloth, the parchment is burning, the letters are flying out. אף אתה פותח פי ויכנס בך אש. He says, when you open your mouth, the fire goes inside. אמר להם, מטוב שיתעלנה מי שנטל ועת יחבל הוא בעצמו. אמר על ההריגה, רבי, אם אני מרבה בשלהבת נוטל סופגנים של צמר מה ליבו, תביא לחיי העולם הבא. He says following, the guy was burning him, the Roman guy, he was burning him. And he says, Rebbe, if I'm going to make your death faster and quicker, am I going to have a share in the world to come? Like, what's the connection? The guy is burning him alive. And he says, Rebbe, do I have, if I'm going to make it faster, do I have olam haba with you? Amar lo hen, yes, he says, you're going to have olam haba. V'nishma li nishba lo. He says, swear to me, Rebbe. Rabbi Hanina ben Tradion, swear to me that I have a share in the world to come because I want to make your death faster and quicker. He says, I promise you. Miyad arba shalhev natal sof gion shel tzemer malibo. He made the fire flame so high and bigger. He took like we said, the sponge made from the tzemer, which is from the wool. He took it out from his heart. And his neshama departed from the Rabbi Hanina ben Tradion. Af akustinir kafasna natafto achtocha ur. So he says that guy that burned Rabbi Hanina ben Tradion and made his death faster and quicker so he don't suffer, he himself dropped in a fire. Yatsa bat kol va'amar. The heavenly voice came out and said, Rabbi Hanina ben Tradion v'kestirono muzuman lechaye olam haba. He says, Rabbi Hanina ben Tradion and a Kastiron, which is the goy, is invited to the world and share in the world to come. Invited. There's a many olam haba. There's a chelek olam haba part. There's a mizuman, invited, which just means without any surim, without any geinom, without anything. So what the goy zacha, what the goy able to reach, Rebbe bacha, Rebbe cried, Rabbi Yehuda al-Nasi cried. He says, Yesh koneh olamo b'sha'a echad. You have a person that's able to buy the whole world in 1 minute. Okay? How is it possible? Rabbi Hanina ben Tradion was always live, shtagin, learning, spreading the Torah. And a guy comes in over here, within a minute or seconds, he has, the voice heavily comes out and it says, Rabbi Hanina ben Tradion. And the Kostirono, he says, the Kostiniru, invited to Olam Haba. Why invited to Olam Haba? Rebbe cried. He says, why the Rebbe cried? If I'm not mistaken, Yeah. He says, you could buy Olam Haba in a second, he says. Rav Chaim Shmulevitz is asking, what does it mean that you could buy the share in the world and come in seconds? He says following. He says, every second a person able to buy Olam Haba. So every second, what do you do with this Olam Haba? It depends on you. So this is what the Rebbe is. He says the time that he able to take and drop himself in a fire and to have olam haba and a heavenly voice to come, that means he took that moment and he able to have the share in the world to come. בחר רבי יש קונה עולמו בשעה אחד ויש קולמו בכמה שנים. וסדר הדורות אמר, סדר הדורות says following, Rav Halprin, ערך רבי חנינא בן תרדיון בעמק המלך בשם סוריאל, שר הפנים. There was an angel named סוריאל. Okay? שהקדוש ברוך הוא עשה נקמה באותו רשע. הקדוש ברוך הוא did revenge to that wicked, whoever made a wicked person, that whoever made decree on Rabbi Hanina ben Tadion. What happened to him? What happened to that Roman emperor? What happened? Lufinos Melech Romi. Lufinos, that's his name. He's the king of the Rome. ועשה עמו כלייה ונכרצה ולא נשתהה בהיכלו שריד ופליט. So what they did with this Roman emperor, they killed him, his whole family, and all his servants. והיו אישו ונערה בנו פילגשים שורפים מולדים. They were burned like he burned Rabbi Hanina ben Tadion with the Sefer Torah. Him, his wife, and his kids, and his old servants got burned like he burned Rabbi Hanina ben Tadion. And that's what the angel says to Am Israel. ואין בספר יחלות רבתי. That's what it says in the books. רבי חנינא בן תרדיון אומר שניים יושבים ואין ביניהם דברי תורה אלא מושב לצים. Rabbi Hanina ben Tadion says two people sitting and not saying the Torah. Says they consider scoffers, two of them, nonsense. שנאמר ומושב לצים לא ישב. David HaMelech says, I would never in my life with the 7 years, which is had every opportunity to be a king, has every opportunity to have all the pleasures and enjoyment from this world. But he been witness for himself. It's very hard for a person to witness his deeds and action. That means all his actions and deeds, he was working for 70 years, how to polish him, how to become great. Okay, people forget. We say, Rabbi, why can't we relax? I see from here, David HaMelech did not relax. He says, I did not sit among scoffers. That's what he's saying. שמא דווקא יושבים מתלוצצים היו מושב לצים. And they're sitting, they're mocking. That's considered מושב לצים. Bunch of clowns, we say in our language. אבל ראיה שמשך פסוק כי בתורת חפצו. בתורת השם חפצו. He says, David HaMelech עליו השלום in Tehillim 1, on desire in the Torah of Hashem. שכל שאינו עוסק בתורת השם, whoever he does not עוסקים בתורת השם, it's not dwell and go in the depths in the תורת השם, in the wisdom, נחשבים מושב לצים. They consider scoffers. So whoever is not learning, playing shishi in a park, wasting time, this is scoffers. People go to theaters, people go to many comedy clubs. This is considered scoffers. מושב לצים. But we're not making joke. The fact that you're sitting and doing it, that's considered scoffers. וכן כתב רמב"ם בפירושו כיוצא בזה כתוב תוספות כתובות. Rambam said the same thing. And Tosafot similarly said in Masechet Ketuvot in page 29. Sov elu hanearot ha'ed perek beyevamot, also in Yevamot, page 79. Dichtiv lo yamut avot al banim. And the Torah says the kids would not die for the sin of the fathers. Lo parich ela besifa dakre dichtiv ish bechatoyo yamut. He says the persons would die in his own sin. What does this mean? The kids would not die for the sin of the fathers. The Chazal talked about edut, witness. The witness cannot be his own son. So if he's going to be in a death capital, the father, chas v'shalom, the son cannot be a witness. So that's what it means. Lo yamutu avot banim, keite b'Sanhedrin, like it says in Masech Sanhedrin in page 27b. Chen nami mesech kre ki b'torato Hashem chefzo. He says, I'm desire in Hashem's Torah. אבל שניים יושבים ויש ביניהם דברי תורה שכינה שרויה ביניהם. Two people sitting and learning or saying דברי Torah, the Shekhinah, the divine presence, is among them. אף על פי אמרו בבא קמא. It says in מסכת בבא קמא in page 83. שאין שכינה שרויה בפחות משני אלפים ושתי רבבות ישראל. בבא בתרא, בבא קמא in page 83 says, there's no Shekhinah only if 2,000 people learning Torah. Continuation of Baba Kama, it says, if there's a 600,000 people learning Torah, that's where the Shekhinah is. Shenemar Avot Alfei Israel, like the verse says, couple thousand to 600,000. Madrigot Rabot Yesh Ashrat Shekhinah Shareh. Says there's a many levels of what's considered the Shekhinah, the divine presence, when a person is learning. What does it mean? We're going to answer. Harei b'Sanhedrin, it says Masechet Sanhedrin, page 39. Amru ki kol asara Shekhinah shruya. He says if there's a 10 people, the Shekhinah, the divine presence is there. Kvar ikshuka Tosafot Baba Kama. Tosafot already asked this question in Baba Kama. Lifi amur nicha she'ena ditgalut ashrat Shekhinah shaveh b'kol hamakom. He says not all the places the Shekhinah is the same. Not all the places. V'chen muar b'Zohar HaKadosh. Zohar HaKadosh says following. Bait Rishon haveh Shekhinah ila'ah. Zohar HaKadosh says in the first Bet HaMikdash, the Shekhinah was very in a great level. By Shekhinah, Shekhinah ta. In the second Bet HaMikdash, the Shekhinah was in a lower position. What does it mean? He says, go look at it in a Zohar. Ayin Rashi says something in Masechet Sukkah in page 53. She'ayta Shekhinah shruya gam b'bayit sheni. Rashi says Masechet Sukkah, page 53. The Shekhinah, the divine presence, also anywhere in second Bet HaMikdash. אלא ודאי דהיינו שואית השכינה במדרגה גבוהה של הבית ראשון. Says, of course, whatever we had in the first Bet HaMikdash, the Shekhinah was in such a great level, we did not have that in the second Bet HaMikdash. תדע שבית יוסף אור החיים, he says something in the Bet Yosef, in the אור החיים, in סימן 112, כתב בשם אורחות חיים, the name of the אורחות חיים, בדברי חז"ל, שחזרה שכינה לבית שני, אמר ברוך המחזיר שכינתו לציון. He says, Bet Yosef writes, he says following, the Shekhinah did came in the second Bet HaMikdash. Like we said it, המחזיר שכינתו לציון. So you should bring the Shekhinah back to the Litzion, which just means the Yerushalayim, Bet HaMikdash. And כתב הרמב"ם, same thing says Rambam, in so פרק ו' הלכה בית הבחירה, talks about the Bet HaMikdash. למה אני אומר שבמקדש יראם קדושה ראשונה, קדושה לעתיד לבוא? He says, Rambam says the way the Kedusha, when the Yoshua ben Nun took over the land of Eretz Israel, says the first Bet HaMikdash by conquering. The second Bet HaMikdash says the Kedusha stood there. The Kedusha is still there. Kedusha לעתיד לבוא, and the Kedusha is the future also. לפי קדושה מקדש וירושלים הוא מפני השכינה. The Kedusha of the Bet HaMikdash in Yerushalayim is in a much greater level. והשכינה אינו בטלה. שכינה is not nullified. והרי הוא אומר, ואמר חכמים, אף על פי ששומעים במקדשם הם עומדים, רבנו בחיי כתוב, even though we say the Shekhinah so-called departed, but it's not, or shomimim, which just means live, alone. רבנו בחיי פרשי ויגש, מם זין כ"ו, it says following, וזה לשונו, השכינה אינו שורה בישראל פחות ממניין 60 רבוע. says רבנו בחיי says less than 600,000, the Shekhinah is not there. אף בימי בית שני, אחרי חורבן בית ראשון, once the first בית המקדש destruction, שרויה השכינה אף בימי בת שני, לא שרתה שכינה. He says, according to him, the Shekhinah did not come in a second בית המקדש. כמו שאמרו ביומה, like it says in מסכת יומה, in page 21b. אין הכוונה לומר שלא שרתה שכינה כלל בבית שני. He says, it not means that Shekhinah was not existed on a second בית המקדש. הרי אמרו חז"ל, שכינה שרויה בבית רבוד ושני אלפים. As we know, the verse says, the Shekhinah, divine presence, was among 2,000 people and 600,000 people. שנאמר שובה השם רבבות אלפי ישראל. He says, the Jewish people come to the 600,000 people. אלא שלא שרתה באותה דיר כמו בימי בית ראשון. So Rabbeinu Bachya says, the Shekhinah was not present all the time. It came in, departed, came in and departed. לפי האמור של מדרגות שונות, בעניין השראת שכינה. There's so many levels, what means the Shekhinah was presented or departed. אבל שניים יושבים, ויש ביניהם דברי תורה, שכינה שרויה ביניהם, שנאמר, אז ידברו יראי השם. What if two people sitting and learning and shtaging or saying divrei Torah even by eating? He says the Shekhinah is there between them. And it says following Shenemah, like it says in the verse, Az yidabru yirei Hashem. Then the fear of Hashem will speak through Ish to the Reu, to his fellow friend. But Gemara Shabbat, it says following in page 63. Ita amar Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish says following. Shne talmidei chachamim nochim ze b'halacha. Shne talmidei chachamim sharpen themselves one to another with the halacha. HaKadosh Baruch Hu machshiv lahem. HaKadosh Baruch Hu listens to them. Shenemar az yidabru yirei Hashem ish l'reu ve'ekshiv Hashem ve'yishma. Like the verse says. Then they're going to speak to talmidei chachamim. They have a fear from Hashem. But Hashem is going to hear. He's going to put his so-called, allegorically speaking, his ear, and he's going to hear to them. En yidaber ela lashon nachat. How they're speaking? Properly. Shenamar yidabru amin tachtenu. Pirush Rashi says, the nation would speak under us. Pirush Rashi says, yidabru amim yashpil v'kol ashfala banachat. A person is supposed to be very, very humble when it comes to the Torah. V'zeh ka'amru shel Sanhedrin, like it says in the Sanhedrin in page 24. Keminhagei talmidei chachamim ba'eretz Israel. The minhag was in Eretz Israel for the talmidei chachamim. Mun'anim v'nochim zeh lazeh ba'alacha. They will sharpen themselves in the halacha left and right. She'al yedei zeh yizku le'askeh shamata liba de'ilchata. They're able to come the bottom line, what the Mishnah says, what the Gemara says. They're able to draw the halacha and they're able to say the halacha. אבל שאינם נוחים זה לזה בהלכה יוצא מהם משפט מעוקל. What if they don't consult with each other? The judgment comes out, the law comes out all crooked. Why is that? כי כל אחד מהם מעוניין לסתור את דברי חבריו. He says, because they don't consult with each other, so what he's going to do, he's going to cancel each other. So he's going to find every way how to cancel him, how to see how wrong it is. ותהיה אמת נהדרת, he says the truth is going to be so hidden from both of them, תלמידי חכמים. כיוצא בזה אמרו בסנהדרין, it says in מסכת סנהדרין in page 29, שני תלמידי חכמים שונאים זה את זה, אין יושבים בדין אחד. So two talmidei chachamim hate each other, does not sit with each other. In a bedin. Asbir Shulchan Aruch Choshen Mishpat. So it says in Shulchan Aruch in Choshen Mishpat, Siman Zayin 7, Halacha Chet 8. Shebipnei sonim benehem, because they have such a hatred. I don't know, maybe they didn't split the building, maybe. Understand? כל דעת שביניהם, כל אחד מהם לסתור את דברי חברו. Each one of them, what they do, one חבר, one person, one תלמיד חכם says halacha, he says, no, it's not true, that's the way to the halacha. But the best thing is, when somebody comes to your side, right? The Gemara in Masechet Eruvin 54, he says the more person is outside on the streets and with the nation, or they say he does a lot of business transaction, you don't think he's a Talmid Chacham, he says. And so I love the Yortzeit Rabbi. For every question, he has an answer. Like you need to be such a giant, like people that learn, I know people at least, that learn 15, 17 hours, they don't have all the time answers. And the guy that spends all day, every day, or a couple times a week at nighttime, right? We don't know what he's during the daytime. Maybe we're going to find the benefit of doubt. Maybe he's learning, right? And he has all the answers. You understand? That's and we love it. And we say yes. Okay, there's a many questions is asked. So it says over here, when the two Talmidei Chachamim, they didn't consult with each other. They don't learn with each other. They don't sharpen each other. What they're going to do, he's going to come in, he's going to say halacha, he's going to say he does not say right. This Talmid Chacham says my halacha right. This Talmid Chacham says my halacha right. And I love the wording that we use. Oh, I met a big rabbi. I don't know, what is it considered for him? Big, size-wise, beer-wise, peyot size. What's considered? I don't know. Big. He spoke well. He's big. Okay, he spoke well. Did he bring you tshuva? Do you learn more Torah? Do you work on your midot? No. So that means he was just entertaining you. You liked it. Big does not mean in our wording big has to be Talmid Chacham, has to be in a knowledge, has to be anav, humble. Or Chod Tzadikim says. There's many categories what means Talmid Chacham. So yesh benhem anava v'chokhma. If the Talmid Chacham have an anava, which means he's anav, humble, v'chokhma, and he has wisdom. כמו שנאמר בעירובין י"ג, מפני מה זכו בית הלל לקבוע הלכה כמותם. He says, why the Beit Hillel halacha was like them? In Masechet Eruvin, page 13b says following. He says, because they were so humble. That's why halacha is like Beit Hillel. Beit Hillel used to say first halacha of Beit Shammai, then they used to say the halacha of Beit Hillel. מפני שנוחים ועלובים היו בית שמאי ובית הלל. בית שמאי, בית הלל. בית הלל was so worried, they were listening to each other. They're able to listen to each other. That's the problem we're having. We learn a little bit, that's it. No, you're not listening. No, you don't understand. פירוש מרן בכללי גמרא שעל ידי שהם נוחים ועלובים Shechina hayta shruya lehem. Because a person is humble and they have wisdom, Shechina, the divine presence, will be rest upon them. And they're able to come and they direct the thoughts to the emet, to the truth. What means the Shechina, the divine presence? Divine presence, which just means we cannot be bilbul, which just means confusion, depression, anxiety. That's called Shechina is departing. According to the Kabbalah, if there is no Or Ein Sof Baruch Hu, how's it possible? If there's no light of Hashem, then that means he's living. He's living on a minimum, on a nefesh behemit. He's living in a minimum. And that minimum, it gives him because olam ki nohagon noheg. A world is continuing with the nature. So, if there's no divine presence, which is Shechina, there's no clarity. Is there Hashem? Is there not Hashem? Should I come shacharit micharavi? Should I do Torah? Should I learn Torah? Is there emet? If somebody went upstairs, never came back. All the sectarians, questions and answers. We have to do what the Torah says. Torah, oy my Torah. So it says following, ועל ידי כך מכונים לאמת. Shechina, when there's a Shechina, Anava, is able to channel his brain to the Emet. מניין אפילו אחד יושב ועוסק בתורה, הקדוש ברוך הוא קובע לו שכר. He says, what if a person learning by himself and sitting? Of course, he needs to have a rabbi that's continue guiding him and give him the path So he will not learn like a sectarian or understand the verses like most of us, because we have an oral Torah and we have a written. When he understands the Torah literally, it's like chas v'shalom, like other nations. They will take bits and parts and their own vigadu, how you say, Rabbi Nissim? And their own benefit, and that's the way they're able to manipulate. So same thing in the Torah, we take it so-called, we understand it in our benefit, and that's the way we continue it. Chas v'chalila. So it says, even if a person learning the Torah by himself, which is must learn Torah, the best way to have a chavruta, which is he will not able to fall asleep, he able to sharpen one to another. Very important. Have a partner in the Torah, and that partner able to sharpen you, and you would understand it, and would speak out loud. He's going to correct you, you're going to correct him. And that's the way you're able to grow. What sharpens the knife? One knife sharpens another. He says, Akadosh Baruch Hu, person learning Torah, even by himself, Hashem is paying him reward every second. Pirush Rabbeinu Avadia beBartanura, he says following. Yoshev Badad v'idom lashon kol daka. He says he's saying with a voice that is calm. He's learning Torah by himself. כדרך השונה יחידי שונה בלחש כי נטל עליו, כאילו נתינה כל התורה הייתה בעבורו. He says like the whole Torah was given to that person. Even he's learning by himself. But we say, Rabbi, I like the house, I like the environment. The Gemara says that yes, you like the house, you like the environment. But the problem, the more you stay in the house, the more they're going to disturb you and do this, call this. All those many things and disruption. There's no Torah. Nothing better to the yeshiva Akdusha, the holy yeshiva. Nothing. The walls sofkim et Kedusha. The walls we're supposed to be come and kiss. The sofkim, which just means they will took upon themselves so much kedusha. And the environment of the yeshiva mashpia, influence a person. There's nobody in the phones, nobody's talking. Everybody's have a one mission, learning Torah. Rabban Gamliel says, Ad shalosh dvarim omed olam. On three things the world stands. Ala Torah, in the Torah, avodah, and avodah elav shebalev, tefillah, prayer. Vala gemilut chasadim. Ala Torah, vala avodah, vala gemilut chasadim. Gemilut chasadim, which just means with the being kindness and continue doing kindness. Hayta bavuro Rashi katav yoshev badad v'idom. He says, Rashi says he's sitting alone and is quiet. Kamo kasher dimiti. Rashi says, Kamo kasher klomar shu machshev mechashev b'divrei Torah. A person thinking divrei Torah. Ki natal alav lashon schach. Kamo v'sukot ala Aaron. He says like on top of the Aaron. A kodesh, it was like a tent. Same thing if a person just have a machshava of Torah, Hashem is giving them reward. Mitargimim v'natil. Af al pi lumid balachesh eno midamed tova. Masechet Iruvin, it says, to not to say out loud, which is I have the same problem. If we don't say divrei Torah out loud when we're learning, it's not a good character. כמו שאמרו במסכת עירובין, page 54a. תלמיד אחד היה לרבי אלעזר שהיה שונה בלחש. Rabbi Elazar had one student, everything was doing it, not out loud. Mumbling. שונה בלחש, mumbling and learning Torah. לאחר 3 שנים שכח כל התלמודו. After the 3 years, he forgot the whole Talmud. וכאן אמרו על שם הפסוק, כי נעים כי תשמרם בבטנך. He says, you want to keep the stuff in your stomach, like a food, a person wants his stomach to be full. He says, naim, which means pleasant, to be kept in your stomach. תשמרם בבטנך יקנו יחדיו על שפתיך. Says, you must say out loud and pronounce it out loud. ומתי דברי נעים בזמן שמשתמרים בבטנך? Which says, when is the Torah is in your stomach? ומתי בזמן שיכנו יחדיו על שפתיך? He says, when you're saying out loud. מכל מקום הקדוש ברוך הוא קובע לו שכר על מחשבה ואירועי דברי תורה. He says, anyway, you're thinking about דברי תורה. And you continue thinking, הקדוש ברוך הוא is giving you still reward for the דברי תורה. Look at how great it is. Not only that, he's able to purify his mind and his thoughts in his life. He will not be influenced by this world so much. He's going to be like in a Tevat Noach. He's going to be like in an Ark of the Noach. There's a Mabul. There's a flood outside. But he's not being influenced by that flood. I don't see Rabbi Flood. What are you talking about? All these things that happen, lefties, righties, news, I always wonder, what's people's brain, what takes, that means it's so behind something is it that people go after the news and it's more important for them? What draws them? What draws the people to the news? Like it's the mind is so deep, like what draws them? There has to be some type of drawing. Nonsense, of course it's all nonsense, but what draws them? Drama, okay. But it's also happiness, okay. So what draws it?
There's a study done. Human beings live vicariously, meaning I live through looking at what you do. That's why people that watch the news, they live through the other people all this happened. As if they live through them. There's a study done on this.
So you see, so it says, מכל מקום הקדוש ברוך הוא קובע לו שכר על מחשבה הרהור דברי תורה. נלמד דברי רשב"ץ, מגן אבות, שאף על פי אינו מוציא את דברי תורה מפיו, even though he does not say דברי תורה by saying it or saying it out loud, ואינו אלא רק מחשבה דברי תורה, he's only thinking of דברי תורה, הקדוש ברוך הוא קובע לו שכר על מחשבתו בדברי תורה. הקדוש ברוך הוא even giving reward for the thinking of דברי תורה. והנה אף מרן פסק בשולחן ערוך. מרן בית יוסף says in סימן 47 הלכה ד' says following, המרהר בדברי תורה אינו צריך לברך ברכת התורה. If a person is thinking about דברי תורה, he does not need to say ברכות התורה, which means he's laying in his bed and he's thinking, he does not say אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו, ברוך אתה השם נותן התורה, he does not need to say this. והרהור לאו כדמורדמי, he says, you thinking and you're not speaking, it's not the same way, he says. מכל מקום מצינו רבי אליעזר ממיץ בספר יראים, מצוות כ"ז, רבי אליעזר ממיץ says following, שבכל שעה אדם חושב בדברי תורה והוגה בהם בליבו. He says every second that he's thinking about דברי תורה and he's saying in his heart, מקיים מצווה ושמתם את דברי אלה על לבבכם. Mitzvah says you should put these words in your heart. וכן כתב בשיטה מקובצת, מסכת ברכות says following, בשיטת מקובצת in page 15 עמוד ב'. ההדה אמרינן התם דכתיב אז הסקד ושמע ישראל, הסקד ושמע ישראל. והנה דברי תורה כתיב, הכוונה למצוות לימוד תורה ברהור. He says even a person that we hear from here we see, even if a person thinking of the דברי תורה, הקדוש ברוך הוא is giving reward for that. אף על פי אינו מוציא בשפתיו. בגמרא חגיגה, it says in מסכת חגיגה in page 3 עמוד א', כי לא משתיה, לא גמרא, גמיר היה דהיינו תרי אילמה בני אחתה, דרבי יוחנן דבי עליה בהם בדרשה, דרבי מניה רשי מרחישב שפותיה, רבי רחמי עליה ויתעשו, השתכח דבר גמרא לאחד ספרי כולה תלמודה. שכתב על פי שפשוט הדבר מהרהר דברי תורה מקיים מצוות והגית בו יומם ולילה. He says, even if a person sitting and learning and just in mind, we have a pasuk in Yoshua in 1:8, it says, והגית בו יומם ולילה. We need to do Torah in the morning and we need to have a Torah at night time. מכל מקום לא תקנו ברכה על מחשבה בלב. Anyway, Maran Bet Yosef says in סימן 47 הלכה 4, we should not make the baracha if we're thinking in our heart. כמו שכתוב בית יוסף, like it says in סימן 432. בשם כל בו בתם שם מברכם ביטול חמץ. Why we don't say ברכה on a ביטול חמץ? when we do bitul, which just means we burn it. עיין תירץ מלא רעים שכן מנחת חינוך. Okay? כתב זה צריך יום. ברכת התורה מברך על מצוות תלמוד תורה. When we say אשר בחר בנו מכל עמים ונתן לנו את תורתו, we're making it for the Talmud Torah, so able to learn the Torah. איננה מצווה בהרהור. It's not mitzvah just to think of Torah. אלא נאמר והגית ולא נאמר, והגית בו יומם ולילה. And you says you're supposed to say the words of Torah day and night. רוצה לומר בלב. He says, what are you talking about? In heart. ואינו סותר למה כתוב בסעיף ג' כתב דברי תורה צריך לברכת ברכת התורה. He says דברי תורה needs to be saying loud and proud. מואר בספרי מהרהר דברי תורה צריך לברך. As we said, a person says דברי תורה, he needs to do it and not just in his mind. שיהיה רצון, השם שגיב us ברכה, הצלחה, בריאות, הרבה דסייעתא דשמיא, לבטל כל השפכות דמים ומלחמות. תן שלום בארץ, תן שלום במלכות, וכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן.